Hey guys, this is Julia and Julia's Knitting. Today I suggest we make a couple of those adorable pretzels. They are very fast, they are very easy to make. You need just a couple of grams of yarn, some double-pointed needles, and maybe a thread. Pretzels can be different colors. They can be super baked or quite pale, so I chose this somewhere in between color yarn. The pretzel on the right is made of the same yarn and it has a little bit of a halo, while the pretzel on the left is very soft, very smooth. Just keep it in mind when you choose the yarn and how your pretzel is going to look like. I'm using 3mm double-pointed needles. To start, you just need to cast on 3. You can use any of your preferable methods. I'm gonna show you the easiest one. I heard it being called an Italian cast on, and you see you don't even have to hold the thread, correctly. You can just twist the yarn. You always twist the yarn in the same direction. And that's it. These are the loops that are going to be your cast on. See, they are just going around the needle and that's it. Now usually you would turn the needle around to knit on the other side of your work. But instead you are going to slide the stitches to the other side of the needle. Usually when we are knitting flat, the thread comes out of the other side. But here we are bringing the thread, we are bringing the yarn to the start of our row. And we knit all 3 stitches. And basically this is it. This is what you have to do until the end of the I-cord. You just repeat the same thing until you reach 17 centimeters length. You just slide the stitches to the other side of the needle and you knit 3. You see, in my case I am right-handed and I'm bringing the yarn from the left to the right. This is basically just knitting in the round, but because of how short the row is, you are not using circle needles, you just pull the yarn around the row. And now we just repeat the same thing until we have about 17 centimeters of I-cord. I'm using sports weight yarn and 3mm needles. If you are using a different yarn, the thicker yarn you use, the thicker needles you need, and the longer I-cord you need to shape a pretzel. The finer yarn you use, the finer needles, and the shorter I-cord you need. My I-cord is not 17 centimeters yet, but let's imagine I don't have a measuring tape, or I'm using different size needles and different thickness yarn. How can I say if it's enough or not? You guessed it, of course, you just try shaping a pretzel. You see if it fits, you see if it's enough to do this twist. I do double twist here. If you want the same, you can see that that's not enough. And so you knit until it is enough. So when you reach the desired length, you just bind off. I knit the first stitch as usual, then I knit the second, and I go into the first one and slip it around the second one. I knit the third one and do the same. I go into the second one and I slip it so that the last one goes inside of the previous one. And of course you can do any of your preferable bind-offs, or you can just break the yarn and bring it through all 3 stitches using a tapestry needle or a crochet hook. And as always, leave a tail when you break the yarn and then hide it inside of the I-cord. You will notice that the I-cord is kind of like a sleeve. It's like a cylinder. There is a space in between all of the stitches inside of it. That's where you want your ends to be. It's going to be twisted later, so it's going to be secure enough. You don't have to struggle to hide the ends and to secure the ends, because it's not going to go anywhere. I pull the end a little bit, I cut it, and then I straighten the I-cord again so that the end is hidden. And now shaping. I'm making this kind of a horseshoe. Then I crisscross the ends, I twist them once, and I bring them down to shape the pretzel. If you want to do it differently, of course you can. If you know other pretzel shapes, be my guest. Now I'm going to pin the ends just to secure them for a second. I'm going to show you 2 ways of attaching the ends to the pretzel. The first one is glue. This is a fabric glue, and it works with fabric and with yarn marvelously, very fast, very strong. I've been using this particular tube for years, maybe 5 or even 7 years. So the only negative side of it is that it's quite runny. It's not very easy to use, but the glue itself, amazing. And the second option is to sew the parts together. And this is how I made all of the previous pretzels I made. And now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why didn't I glue them all? Because honestly, it's much longer, it's much harder. It's not that hard, but it's more complex. And you just, first of all, you don't need this kind of security. And second of all, I'm not sure if this is more secure than this particular glue, because the glue is very strong. So I don't know, if you don't have glue, obviously you can just sew to not buy it. But if you do have it, I wouldn't bother with sewing. But anyway, there is no special technique. You just join the two parts together. You just go through both parts and you try to hide the ends. And it's quite easy to do because, again, the I-cord is hollow. This is the end of the main part of the pretzel. And honestly, this could be your stopping point. This can be a finished pretzel with no sprinkles, with no sugar or salt sprinkled on it. You can just use this pretzel, it's ready. But of course, I'm gonna do sprinkles just to show you how to do it and to show you what it looks like. In my mind, my pretzel is sweet and it's sprinkled with something sweet. Maybe it's not sugar, but it's some sweet sprinkles. So I'm choosing from these colors that associate with something creamy and sweet for me. I'm taking 2 strands of thread. I'm making a knot at the end and I'm going through these 2 strands to secure the thread. And then I'm bringing the thread to the right side of the pretzel. And what I'm doing is I'm going with the same stitch several times on the same place, just to make this sprinkle a little bit 3D, I would say, to give it a little bit of volume. I usually choose one side of the stitch, you know, this, just the thread of the yarn to go over, because it's just the most convenient way, no other reason. Then again, I'm going through the I-cord, through the space inside of the I-cord to transfer the thread to another place and do the same thing. I just sew over and over at the same place to make this sprinkle. In my case, over and over means 4 times. But of course for you, you can make them smaller, you can make them bigger. I haven't tried it, but I'm thinking if you want to make French knots instead of those stitches, they would look nice too. At least you can try. And obviously you sprinkle the whole pretzel, but I want to remind you that if you started sprinkling and you didn't like it, you don't have to do it. It looks fine without the sprinkles. It looks amazing, to be honest. So just, you know, do 1 sprinkle. That's enough. Here's the final look. To be honest, they will look nicer if you steam them. I was thinking adding this nice bow, but I don't have, I only have those wide ribbons, and it's too wide for my small pretzels, so I'm not going to do it. But if you do have a narrower, more fitting and more suiting ribbon, of course it will look nice, I think. I don't have one. I still don't know, but I'm imagining. But I'm just going to add this this string to hang them on my Christmas tree. That's it. Thank you for being with me. Bye. If you make one, please tag me. I want to see.